All right. Good evening, everybody. Let's get started. So I've been looking all evening, and no Pocket Pennant Run update dropped. So as I said, I'd probably be on with something else. I guess we'll do Action PC Baseball and continue the 1971 project. I want to thank everybody too. A lot of people in earlier when we were doing our comments about comments and talking about what ifs versus or the what ifs and expectations as opposed to like season replay projects, and kind of getting a sense of the pulse of the community, and also some just a little bit of out of the park baseball turned out to be show how to do this or show how to do that, and ended up playing a couple games or letting them play out in pitch by pitch mode using all the different sort of screen filters and stuff that are available in out of the park baseball. So that was fun, and I thought it might be fun to just do a sort of tutorial, not so much about the deep dive stuff about out of the park baseball, but maybe I just had to do some of the easy things. Um, it was only twice today, Nathaniel. He says, I'm seeing you too much today, 3 times. I guess if you count early this morning, like after midnight, I still count the nighttime as the day it is. So, like if I would be at 12:15 a.m. on a Sunday, to me, that's still Saturday because it's dark. Well, but, Nathaniel, hopefully it's not a terribly painful thing that you are. I would be remiss if I didn't start the broadcast by saying, may the memory of Wilbur Wood be eternal, who, as we say in the Eastern Orthodox faith, he fell asleep in the Lord. So we go. Oh, yes, that's true. Legend stream. That was a great stream, but there was that one boxing game that, oh, no, it's all cool. Even if you weren't joking, it's still cool. But the one boxing game was making me like I don't know what it was, just because of the way the camera was shaking, and it was like, just going all around the ring. I couldn't watch anymore. It was great broadcast what I could watch, but it was literally making me nauseated. And one of those people, I can't play like first person games, and if games have screen shake or motion blur, the first thing I do is go to options and turn it off. It's just one of those things. I know I could probably get some ginger root chew on it or Dramamine or whatever, but I just couldn't do it, man. But I hung around for like 20 minutes of it, and it was excellent. Yeah, so it was because when I would watch boxing on television, you would get like cuts and stuff like that, but this was like somebody on the apron of the ring, just going around and around in the ring, and sometimes the camera would tilt. Um, and I guess that's to provide kind of dramatic action or whatever, but it was literally made me dizzy. So you have the same issue. Yeah, it's terrible having that sort of vertiginous feeling. So it is nothing at all to do with Legends. It was a great stream, but I just couldn't watch anymore. But it was great stuff, great stuff. So highly recommend all three broadcasts. If you do suffer a bit of motion sickness or whatever, just the third one might get you a little bit, so you might want to be careful of that. But that was like woof. But anyhow, I hope everybody enjoyed the kind of impromptu out of the park stuff that we did today. There's an option you can turn off the motion blur. That's nice to know, because I do like boxing. And I've been looking into, just one of those games, not to do on here like ever, because I couldn't call a boxing game to save my life. I can't call a baseball game, but I love baseball and know a little bit more about it. But that was really really cool to watch the Legends and his report on the Graziano Zale fight. That was just great stuff, great story. But everything was like, not to trigger this anybody that has this. So, but Nathaniel, you know what this feels like, and it is that sort of, you start getting that cold sweat feel, and it just didn't feel good, and I had to click away. I felt badly because I just wanted to say, Legends, man, I got to cut out. This is great, but I'm getting motion sickness from this. So it was more the screen tilt that was getting me than anything. So there you go. There's another little dirty secret. So thanks for that, Nathaniel. I'm just a dude here hanging out. So here we are. We are in our 1971 project. We're going to be playing some games, as I said, through 1971, but with an eye toward really seeing then how Legacy Mode does in 1972. And while I do have all the seasons in this, you don't need um, all the seasons. You could just have one and do Legacy Mode. And so I do want to try that and see how it works, because I've heard anecdotally from others that it plays out pretty interestingly. So something to look forward to. But this, in the meantime, this is also a fun season to play. Regardless, I think it was an awesome baseball season as a Pirate fan, probably for obvious reasons. So we got some pretty good matchups today here, and we've got a few that we're just gonna auto play or whatever. But I think we're going to be doing tonight Mets versus Pirates. But before we jump into the Mets Pirates game, let's look at, just because a lot of the other matchups are teams with one with a losing record, one with a winning record. Anyhow, let's look at this. So in the National League West, the Houston Astros are half game up on the Padres. Pittsburgh Pirates, who have the best record in baseball right now at 24-9, are 6 games up on the Mets, who they'll play tonight in a little bit, and 6.5 up on the Cubbies. The American League West, it's the Oakland Athletics with a 3.5 game lead over the Chicago White Sox. And in the American League East, the Yankees just a half game up on Detroit. Now, I was hoping that the Yankees and the Tigers would be playing, because that would also be a fun game to do. But Detroit is at Washington, and Washington is 9-24. So that's definitely one we're going to just auto play out. And I'm trying to see here. I don't think the Yankees are off today, so there's no Yankee game. So let's go ahead and let's play this New York Mets Pittsburgh Pirates game, and then we're going to pretty much probably auto play everything else. Thank you for joining me, everybody, this family who is here watching and being very quiet for a little Sunday night baseball. All right. And let's go to Three River Stadium. All right. Doc Ellis will be taking the hill, and he will be going against Nolan Ryan. So should be a good matchup here. Let's just go ahead and do this computer lineup, and we're ready to go. I never did get an LED TV or monitor, migraine and motion sickness. Get a Q. All right, I will. Q LED TV. Yeah, because the one that I'm using right now is like it's fine. It is definitely fine. But I've noticed that like my friends, they have one of those big things where like the resolution is so high that, and the other reason I don't like it is because like movies don't look like movies. They're like a videotape, and that just, it's not my jam. So hey, there's cousin Ken Castro sending us everybody here. Good evening. Good evening to you, cuz. So we're back in 1971, and for you now playing 2020 baseball, this would be old-timey baseball for you now, Ken. All right, let's do this. And here we are at Three River Stadium for today's game between the New York Mets and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pardon me. Nolan Ryan will start for the Mets. 3 starts in the year for him, and he is 1 win and 1 loss and an ERA of 6.10. This will be his first start against the Pirates. Doc Ellis will take the hill for the Buccos. 8 starts in the years for Doc Ellis, and off to a great start. 7 wins, 1 loss, an ERA of 1.17. This would be his second start against the New York Mets, and against the Mets, he's 1-0 with a 0 ERA. So Mets shortstop Bud Harrelson is on a 15-game hitting streak, 78 degrees here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and there's light rain falling. And the Mets coming into this game at 17-14, the Pirates at 24-9. Mets need to get rid of Ryan. He will never be any good. I know, Enzo, right? Who is this scrub? Okay, we got to turn off manual entry, because we will not be using that for really for this project. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Tommy Agee will lead things off here for the New York Mets. 293 average, 5 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Once again, thank you for coming in, enjoying some baseball as we look at the starting defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates. In left field would be Vic Davalillo. In center, Al Oliver. And right, Roberto Clemente. Going around the horn from first to third, Bob Robertson, Dave Cash, Gene Alley, and Richie Hebner. Behind the plate, of course, Manny Sanguillen and Doc Ellis ready to deal to Tommy Agee. Let's buckle up and play some baseball. 0-2 pitch. And this one, routine fly ball out to Clemente in right field. 1 up, 1 down for the New York Mets. It brings up Bud Harrelson. 15-game hitting streak, as we said, hitting .315 thus far in the season. With 7 runs batted in. Ellis has the sign from Sanguillen. And this one, just a little tapper there out to Dave Cash. Takes it on the bounce onto Bob Robertson for the 4-3 putouts. 2-away here in the top of the first inning. Brings up Art Shamsky, hitting an anemic 130 with a home run, 4 runs batted in. Doc Ellis winds and fires. 2-1 pitch, bounding ball to Bob Robertson, waving off Doc Ellis, and he will take it to the bag himself. No runs, no hits, no errors for the New York Mets. We go to the bottom of the first. The Mets nothing. The Pirates coming to bat. And Enzo says, question, and pardon his ignorance. You compare Apigo and Strat Max. This game looks good. What are the major differences? So, like, the major differences between this game and, like, out of the park baseball? Or, because I'm not sure, because I don't think, you can definitely compare this game to Strat Max and Apigo, only because they are cards and dice. So it would be fair to with this to compare it to another digital game, if that's what you mean, Enzo. So could be just me not understanding the question completely. So let you fill that out if you don't mind doing a bit more typing. And hey, Mike, Sports Time Machine. This is the only baseball you can find that doesn't have those crazy contracts. Belongs to the How about it? Well, Mike, you do the same thing, right? No crazy contracts here. Man, I can't believe that whole. I mean, the Dodgers. Wow, what a deal! What a deal they did. Once again, folks. Memory eternal. Tommy John fell asleep in the Lord. So, or Wilbur Wood. I'm sorry, Tommy John. Wilbur Wood. So, memory eternal to him. Starting defense for the New York Mets here in 1971. In left field, Cleon Jones. In center, Tommy Agee. And in right, Art Shamsky. From first to third, we've got Ed Kranepool, Tim Foley. Tim Foley will eventually become a Pirate at the end of the decade. Bud Harrelson and Bob Aspromonte. Good Italian boy over there at the hot corner. Jerry Grody behind the plate. And on the mound, Nolan Ryan. All right. A quite young Nolan Ryan, I might add. Leading things off here, Dave Cash. Dave Cash off to a pretty good start here for the Buccos, as we are 33 games into the season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Cash hitting a healthy .344 with 2 home runs and 18 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan, 2-2 pitch, and Dave Cash opens it with a base hit past Harrelson into left field. So Dave Cash is aboard, and Cash is a threat to steal. 13 steals in the actual 1971 season, and 2 thus far in this project. So Enzo's asking, I guess what I'm asking is, Action PC does all the things Apigo does, seasons replay. It does everything Apigo does and more. So our first Michael McGreevy League was done in Action PC Baseball. You can pretty much... Now, again, there is a caveat to this. So for Apigo, if you subscribe to it, you get every season out of the rip from 1904 to present. With this, you do have to buy seasons. However, Dave frequently has sales. Additionally, even the regular price of his seasons are less expensive than other games such as PC Replay and other digital games where you have to buy seasons. You can set up tournaments in this thing, draft leagues. And there's so much free stuff available offered by the community, and um, that it's an amazing game. It's one of the best digital baseball games out there. Um, the best comparison, head-to-head comparison, would be with out of the park baseball. So, but yeah, this definitely does more. But again, even with AppAgo, if you don't subscribe, you can just go basic AppAgo and then just purchase seasons as you go along. So, and that way, AppAgo is more expensive, but it's a good game. It's a good game, and so StratMax. They're both good games. All right. Here's Vic Davalillo now hitting .333 with 6 runs batted in. Dave Cash leads off first, and Dave Cash off to the races. And Jerry Grody throws down, but not in time. Harrelson's tag just barely missing Cash as he gets the hand in there on the bag. So third stolen base for Dave Cash, and the Buccos with a runner in scoring position. Nolan comes with 1-0 pitch. Davalillo bouncer to Foley. Foley drops the ball. Little boot out there. Score that one. E4 on Tim Foley. And that will put runners at the corners for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nobody out for Roberto Clemente. The great one hitting .277, 4 home runs, and 17 runs batted in. So the Mets committing an error, and the Buccos with runners at the corners. Nolan Ryan works out of the stretch, 2-1 pitch, and this one laced up the middle, base hit. Cash will score, and they're going to hold Davalillo at third. So Roberto Clemente with an RBI single, and the Buccos out to a 1-0 lead here. All right, here's Richie Hebner. Richie Hebner largely platooned in the actual 1971 season. So Hebner in the game today with a .280 average, 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in for Richie Hebner. Lefty in the box against Nolan Ryan, working out of the stretch. Still nobody out. 3-1 pitch, and Ryan loses him. So one thing we know that Nolan Ryan did in his career is he struck out a lot of batters and he walked a lot of batters. In fact, major league leader all-time in both categories. Here's Al Oliver now. Oliver hitting .258, 3 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Oliver, largely the Pirates' starting center fielder, although at times he would be spelled by Gene Klein's coming off the bench. All right. And 1-2 pitch, Al Oliver, bouncer out toward first. Crane pull to Harrelson, back to Crane pull, 3-6-3, double play, and Vic Davalillo will come in to score. And the Buccos play 2 in the bottom of the first as Mark joins us here in Three River Stadium, 1971. How you doing, Mark? It is great to see you, brother. All right, Clemente on third, 2 down for Bob Robertson. The old redhead hitting .230 with 7 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan out of the stretch, 3-1 pitch, and Ryan will lose Robertson. So he'll trot down to first. Runners at the corners now for Manny Sanguillen. Sanguillen on the season thus far, hitting .316. He's got 2 out of the park with 13 runs batted in. Grody sets up. Ryan from the stretch, count even, 2-2. This one, line drive in the corner. That's going to score Clemente. Robertson heading for third. He will come around and score. And just like that, Manny Sanguillen with an RBI double, scoring 2, and the Buccos now with a 4-0 lead. Pittsburgh Pirates, of course, in the actual 1971 season would go on to face the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series and win that one in 7 games. And the Buccos would close the 1970s by once again meeting the Baltimore Orioles, coming from behind in both of those World Series and winning them. So great teams. And there we go. Tribe fan joining us. He says, an Abraham Lincoln. Yep, 4-score inning. How you doing, Tim? Great to see you. Clee Baseball fan 879. Tribe fan 879. Joining us here at Three Rivers. Here's Gene Alley. Gene Alley really in there for his defense. 194 hitter thus far in the season. He does have 1 out of the parker and 9 runs batted in. So Nolan Ryan when he's getting his control, they're smacking around a little bit, but the victim of walks thus far, Ryan, thus far has he's walked 2 batters, has yet to issue a K. All right, here we go. 2-2 pitch, and Tim Foley has it, ranging to his right, fires it on to Ed Kranepool to retire Gene Alley and the Bucks. But the Pirates pick up 4 runs, 3 hits. There was 1 Met error. We go to the top of the second inning. The Pirates leading the Mets 4-0 here. In 1971, this is May 16th. All right, and again, Action PC uses as played schedule, all that kind of stuff. Here's Cleon Jones. Cleon Jones having a good start to 1971 as the Mets are 30. This is their 32nd game. A 354 average for him, 2 homers, 19 runs batted in as John DFW comes into the ballpark. How you doing tonight, John? Hope all is well, buddy. Man, the family's all here. All right, Doc Ellis deals 1-1 pitch, and this one bouncer to Gene Alley. He has all day, fires it on to Bob Robertson for the 6-3 putout. So 1 up, 1 down. Once again, I want to thank everybody today. We ended up with a kind of a fun sort of out of the park thing, and we had a great discussion too on what if projects versus season replays, and so I just really appreciate everybody. Mick says Ryan had 6.9 walks per 9 innings 1971. He would have given me a headache if I were his manager that season. How about it? Mark says first dice game he ever played was Mets versus Pirates. Living room floor, his dad comes over for his visitation weekend. His parents were divorced, 1973. His dad pulls out the Daily News from the day before, writes down the lineups in a yellow legal pad, and teaches me his 2 dice game. What a great memory. You know, I've got to tell you guys, I never had that growing up. And I've alluded to why in the past. So for you guys that had fathers that were, you know, like that with you, you have, I hope you know how fortunate you were. It's just amazing. So John's playing a game of Action PC right now as we speak to, and his game is tied 6-6 in the 9th. So drama going on over there with baseball drama for John DFW. All right, guys, let's bring in Ed Kranepool here, hitting 268, 3 homers, 22 runs batted in, 1 down here top of the second. Ellis 0-2 pitch and base hit up the middle, driven hard there by Ed Kranepool. This one shoots through the middle, splitting Alley and Cash. So the Mets pick up their first base hit. Kranepool really not a threat to steal at all. This is Bob Aspromonte hitting just 194, 5 runs batted in for him. Ellis has the signs from the belt, 0-2 pitch and soft liner, but Richie Hebner has it. Kranepool gets back to first, so 2 down. Nice play there by Richie. So I nothing is ever that simple. Something else I guess you and I could trade war stories about. As I've mentioned, mine is in prison for 2 murders and a bunch of other felonies. So it's how you could learn to invent baseball games in your mind. Baseball for me was an escape also, very much an escape, as was magic and art. Yeah, he was an enforcer. So that was his, so in kidnapping and arsons and all that, and pretty bad stuff. So for that, Mick says in 1973, his parents divorced. During the house cleanup during the split, your Strat cars, he said the Strat cars disappeared. He's not pleased about that. I would imagine not. Jeez. You know, John, it's you learn, you can be, because I'm also a survivor. You learn to be a victim or you learn to be a survivor, and I'm a survivor. And the one thing I've always lived my life to be is to be everything that he isn't. And I also believe that even if the world treats you like shit, you treat people well. That's what you do, man. Well, your dad, so Nathaniel, if your dad was a conscientious objector or whatever, I admire that. You know, if I get some slap back on this channel, it is what it is. We should have never been in Vietnam. That was France's problem. So if he was there because of his Vietnam War beliefs, he was against the war. That's something I think to be. I admire that. That took a lot of balls in the 1960s to say no. I don't believe in this. So props to him. He should be your hero. That is a hero. That's a hero. That's a man who said, no, this is wrong. I'm not going to do it. Be proud of that, man. I'm glad he's your hero. He's my hero, too, for that. All right, so Crane pull aboard, 2 down. Here's Jerry Grody, 229 average for him with 5 runs batted in. As Mark says he'd love to hear more of the story from Nathaniel. I think we all would. That's a courageous man there, definitely. Doc Ellis deals, and 2-1 pitch, twisting foul, third base side. Richie Hebner giving chase, but this one, as you see, will get out of play as Richie Hebner trying to chase down the beer vendor. All right, so the count is even on Jerry Grody. Here's the pitch, and Jerry Grody, this one comes in called strike 3. That does it for the Metropolitans. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Pirates lead the Mets 4-0. And we will see Doc Ellis, Dave Cash, Vic Davalillo do up. Ellis hitting 182. He is batted in 2. Nolan Ryan, 0-2 pitch, and Doc Ellis didn't even have a chance to try to catch up on that gas. 95 in the gun by Nolan Ryan. Picks up his first strikeout of the contest. Swing around to the top of the order. Dave Cash, 1 for 1. Again, I know that I said that I would do a pocket pennant run game tonight, but no update dropped. So here we are in action PC baseball. All right. Anyhow, the foul chases and just stands in action PC are always humorous. They are. Also, fly balls that hit the green monster are really fun too. Ted Williams would probably be very amused to see himself leaping 60 feet in the air. Great stuff. They are fun. Yeah, because Richie Hebner ended up back here, about 12 rows back? All right, here we go. Nolan Ryan deals to Dave Cash, 2-2 pitch, and soft little hopper there to Tim Foley, and loads it quickly because Dave Cash has some excellent speed. 4-3 on the putout, so 2 down for Vic Davalillo. Davalillo grounded to second, but was safe on the Tim Foley error. 1-2 pitch, Davalillo up the middle, Foley ranging to his right quickly, and strong throw to get the out. So the Buccos go in order. We go to the top of the third. Pirates lead the Mets 4-0. So Nathaniel says he actually met the Irishman under men in a Missouri prison. It was told in the Irishman Netflix movie. So that'd be Frank Sheeran that you're talking about. So Sheeran was connected, obviously being Irish. He couldn't be a made member. The mafia frequently would use Irish people, though, for carrying out some of their work. We'll put it that way. There's some controversies. There are some, like Michael Francesi, who has a channel on YouTube, by the way, he's a former capo. He says Sheeran didn't do it. There are other mobsters that say he does. So did. So again, it's one of those things that I don't think we're ever going to get the truth. But that said, that movie, The Irishman, is fantastic. It really is. Good stuff if you've never caught it. Joe Pesci plays Russell Buffalino. And of course, Robert De Niro plays the titular part of Frank Sheeran, the Irishman. Harvey Keitel's in the movie. It's really an excellent movie. All right, so here's Tim Foley, Nolan Ryan, and Tommy Agee. Yep, amazing film, underrated. Your dad. Okay, so your dad is now even more of a hero. Talk about badass, man. So Nathaniel says his dad went to the 1968 Chicago Democratic Convention. Oof. So, of course, that in itself is a huge story. Yikes. Mark says anybody who uses the term titular is your friend for life. Well, I'm honored to be so, my friend. So, yeah, that 1968 Democratic National Convention, what a nightmare that was. And you've got to wonder, just take a moment here to just talk about that and what happened under Mayor Richard Daley and all the crazy things. If Robert F. Kennedy Sr., not talking about his son, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole at all. Had Bobby Kennedy not been assassinated, I think how differently things would have been. Kennedy would have won that election, but as it turned out, with that assassination, and with things getting so out of hand in Chicago, and you can see films of it all over the place, read accounts, it was a pretty dark time. I don't think that what happened in Chicago would have had Bobby Kennedy not been assassinated. I mean, he was definitely in line. But, ends up to be Hubert Humphrey, and he got stomped. So, just lost, says John, the bottom of the 11th on a Lou Whitaker home run. Well, I guess if somebody's going to hit you one, sweet Lou, how about it? So Nathaniel said, one of the gangsters said, if you don't, my mom going to take her. You'll mess around with those gangsters. So your dad, that is so cool. You should write a story about your dad, man. It's a brave man. I'd love to meet him. All right, here's Tim Foley now. Here's the pitch to Foley. 0-2 pitch. And Tim Foley, nice cut, but no dice. All right, here's Nolan Ryan hitting 143 on the year. Doc Ellis deals 1-0 pitch. Ryan skies it to left. And Vic Davalillo comes in a few paces and makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down. As we swing around to the top of the order again, and Tommy Agee flew out to right his last time up. Ellis into the wind. 2-2 pitch in there. Strike 3. All right, so Doc Ellis is fan 3 in this game. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Pirates 4, the Mets nothing. Roberto Clemente 1-for-1 RBI single that scored Dave Cash back in the 1st. So Clemente, Hebner, and Oliver, the 3-4-5, the heart of the Buccos lineup. John says, you guys are talking about relatives in prison. I'm talking about losing a worthless computer game. No need for sympathy. Hey, man, no, that ain't worthless computer game at all. Bottom of the 11th. The fun thing about this is I just want people to feel safe, have fun, talk about what you want to talk about. So there's never any hijacking, anything like that. Never any, you've got to adopt this tone or that tone. Have fun. This is supposed to be a safe place. La familia tutti. All right. So, come on, man. But seriously, if I'm going to have somebody hit a home run against me in a game, I can think of a lot worse people than Lou Whitaker. All right, Clemente waits for the Ryan delivery. Count full, and Clemente laces this one to right. Base hit. So 2 for 2 for Roberto Clemente, as Richie Hebner, who drew a walk last time, is up. So Clemente, conservative leadoff first. He was fast in the base paths, but not a base stealer. 2-2 pitch, and Hebner sends this one deep to left, open the window, Aunt Minnie, over the fence and left center field. 2-run shot by the Gravedigger son, 338 feet. And the Pittsburgh Pirates stake up 2 more. It's 6-0 now in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And here's Al Oliver. He has nothing for 1. Grounded into a double play that scored Vic Davalillo. Nolan Ryan deals 1-2 pitch. Popped high on the infield, second base side, and Tim Foley reels it in for the first out of the inning. Here's Bob Robertson. He walks. So again, Nolan Ryan in the game with 1 strikeout, 2 walks thus far. Sounds about right. 1-2 pitch, and there's the second strikeout. All right, so that little cut fastball in at the knees. So 2 away for Manny Sanguillen. RBI double, big hit for him that scored Clemente and Bob Robertson. Bases empty here. Bottom of the 3rd inning in Pittsburgh. Nolan Ryan, 1-1 pitch, and Sanguillen bouncer to Foley on to Crane pull. All right, so the Buccos pick up 2 more runs on 2 hits. There were no errors. 3 in the books here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pirates 6 and the Mets nothing. John DFW says he has a distant relative in prison for something pretty bad. Fortunately, my mother's side with a different last name. Yeah, that's definitely something that I had to deal with when all the stuff came down. It's a Yeah. Mark says, amazing how 2 years can make such a difference as kids in terms of what we remember. He says, of course, I know all these guys now, but as a kid, Shamsky didn't exist. Foley was on the Expos, and Clemente died. Yeah, that is very, very true. All right, so Bud Harrelson trying to extend his 15-game hitting streak, grounded out to Dave Cash his last time up. All right, Doc Ellis studies the sign from Manny Sandia and has one he likes. 0-2 pitch. Harrelson bouncer back to the mound. Ellis off the bump. Over to Bob Robertson. 1-3. There she goes. One away. Art Shamsky now, 0-for-1, grounded to first. So the Mets with just one hit in this game thus far. Ellis deals, and Ellis loses Art Shamsky. So Doc Ellis issuing his first walk of the ball game. Cleon Jones grounded to short. Pirates looking for a quick 2-ball here. 1-2, and that's not going to happen. Lined into center, base field. Shamsky turns on the afterburners. He's going to make it to third. So the Mets threatening for the first time in this game with runners at the corners brings up Ed Kranepool, who had the game's only hit against Doc Ellis prior to this inning with a single up the middle last time. Ellis from the stretch, and Kranepool does it again, and this time scores Art Shamsky. So give the RBI single to Ed Kranepool, and the Mets get on the board. It's now 6-1. Sorry for anyone who goes through a parent going to, you know what? I'm glad he is where he is, and that's the reason also why I came back to America. He had applied for clemency to the governor of the Commonwealth, and I thought I can't let that happen because I wasn't sure what would happen. So came back, did my due diligence, and now the only way he gets out is feet first. So it is what it is, man. All right, 2-1 for the Mets. Here is Bob Aspromonte, line to third back in the second inning. All right, here we go. Count full, and all of a sudden they're seeing Doc Ellis pretty well. Base hit into right field. Clemente getting that ball in really quickly, and the Mets have the bases juiced, baby. And here we go. So we got Aspromonte at first, Kranepool at second, Jones at third for Jerry Grote, who's 0-for-1. So Doc Ellis needing to bear down right here. Jerry Grote, only 2 home runs in the actual 1971 season, and none so far, but a swing of the bat, and the Mets are way back in this game. 3-1 pitch, and Doc Ellis walks one in, so Cleon Jones will come home, and that's a costly walk. The Mets now behind 6-2. Yeah, right. Did his LSD hit wear off? I think that could very well be Tim. All right, here's Tim Foley, future Bucco, struck out back in the third. Ellis in trouble here. Sanguillen out to have a word with his pitcher, now back behind. And 0-2 pitch, and I don't know what Manny said or maybe gave Doc Ellis there, but that's 2 outs. Nice curveball dropped in there by Doc Ellis. Base is still loaded, 2 away. Nathaniel says he can't stop laughing at that one. Tim will always, man, you can always count on Tim for these nice zingers that come in, man. All right, here's Nolan Ryan. He flew out to left last time up. Mets with 2 on the board here in the fourth, 6-2, Pirate lead. And here's the pitch, base hit, and Kranepool will come in to score, and Aspromonte will hold third. So the Mets chipping away. So when we started the fourth inning, it was 6-0 Pirates. It's now 6-3 Pirates. Base is still loaded. Tommy Agee, 0-for-2, flew out and struck out. Ellis deals, full count, and Tommy Agee strikes out with the bases loaded. This one coming in just below the belt. But the New York Mets pick up 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They leave them loaded. We go to the bottom of the fourth. The Pirates 6 and the Mets 3. Yes, already mentioned that, Tim, but let's mention it again. It's not Grote was an angry hobbit. Also, I did already a couple times. So once again, a memory eternal. Wilbur Wood, former Bucco from the White Sox, was hoping actually that we'd have a Wilbur Wood start here tonight on the schedule, but we did not. So Wilbur Wood and that great diamond in the sky. All right, we've got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for the Bucks. Gene Alley leading things off here, nothing for one, grounded to second, back in the first. Nolan Ryan ready to rock and roll. 1-1 pitch. Alley. Hard hit ground ball to Aspromonte. Bang, bang play at first, and they will get Gene Alley by a step. Doc Ellis fanned his last time up. 1-2 pitch. This one lined hard, but foul into the right field seats over there. All right, Ellis back in the box. The count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Doc Ellis, 97 that time from Nolan Ryan. So Nolan Ryan getting a little bit upset now. So Ellis is fanned twice. 2 down for the Bucks, back at the top of the orders for Dave Cash, who's 1 for 2 on the day, grounded out his last time up. 0-2 pitch, and ground ball, base hit up the middle over a leaping Tim Foley. So actually, a sort of slow line drive. Let's not call it a grounder, because then Tim Foley wouldn't be leaping, would he? All right, Dave Cash with speed on board. Here's Vic Davalillo. Davalillo was safe in an error, 0 for 2 in the game. And there goes Dave Cash, slides, and safe. Safe. So Dave Cash able to get around the tag of Harrelson. And once again, just getting the index finger in there. Second stolen base for Dave Cash today, and his 4th on the season. So runner in scoring position for the Buccos. Nolan Ryan brings it home. Davalillo base hit right field. Cash rounds third, and he will score. Credit Davalillo with an RBI single. The Buccos tally up another one here. It is 7-3 Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 4th inning. Roberto Clemente perfect, 2 for 2 today, including an RBI single back in the first. Nolan Ryan brings it home. And what happened here? Davalillo steals the base uncontested. Grote comes up and holds on to the ball. So the Buccos bringing a combination of timely hitting and good station-to-station baseball. There we go. Mark saying that he saw that. I always liked Wilbur Wood, but think it's just because as an 8-year-old, his name just sounded so Disney. It does. It really, really does. Much better reference. Maybe sound like an E.B. White character. Yes, indeed. So a little Winnie the Pooh action. I almost read as T.H. White, and I'm like, no, there was no Wilbur Wood in the King Arthur legend, but I'm glad I saw the E.B. and not the T.H. Much better reference. In his baseball card in 74, he just looked cherubic and friendly. At least as far as the Renaissance idea of it, what a cherub looks like, because if you read the description of what the cherubim actually look like, pretty scary looking, man. And Wilbur Wood certainly was not that. So hopefully he's having a laugh from that great diamond in the skies. We are talking about him and E.B. White and cherubim and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, so Davalillo with the stolen base. So the Buccos have pilfered 3 today. Clemente back in the box. And Roberto Clemente will become strikeout victim number 4. The Buccos pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. We've played 4 here in Pittsburgh. It's the Pirates 7 and the New York Mets 3. Bud Harrelson still in that 15-game hitting streak, looking to extend it, but he hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield. All right, Doc Ellis ready to go. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks for Doc. And Sanguillen with the sign. Ellis with the 1-1 pitch. Harrelson fly ball into shallow center field. Alley going out, but Al Oliver calls him off and bridges down for out number 1. Art Shamsky now settles into the plate. Lefty walked last time, so 0 for 1 in the game. 1-2 pitch up the middle. Dave Cash ranges to his right. Fires on to Bob Robertson. Score that one 4-3. 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning for Cleon Jones. And I love that name, Cleon. Next cat or dog I get, I got 2 cats already. When I get a dog, I'm going to get me a big old golden retriever. And I'm going to name him Cleon, because I think Cleon is a great name. In fact, I want to be called Cleon, and I'm going to change the name of this family to Cleon eternally, because it's a great name. I'm serious. Cleon is cool. It's just a cool name. It's a cool name. I always like that name. White Sox were funded in 1970, says Mark. He says that he was a much bigger fan of the National League than the American League back then. But guys like Wood, Bill Melton, Jorge Horta, I remember them well. Nice. I don't know a lot about the White Sox in the 1970s. I really do need to brush up on them. I know in the late 70s they were a pretty good team. Good stuff. Yeah, so one of the reasons I want to get golden retrievers is low prey drive, and golden retrievers, man, they're kind of like the dogs will just chill out with you, do some greenage with you if you did that kind of thing, and you know, golden retrievers like they'll watch baseball with you, man. It's cool. So yeah, and I'm gonna name him Cleon. I'll name him Cleon. Maybe I'll give him a middle name. Maybe I'll call him Cleon. I don't know. I need a good middle name for him, but I don't know. I just like that name, Cleon Jones. Sounds like a dude that should be like a musician, right? Cleon Jones, bass player for I don't know, the Screaming Cherubs. There we go. Cleon is a great name for a dog. Thank you, Mark. Hey, yeah, I think so too. Cleon, come on, man. Love it. All right. And Cleon Jones is 1 for 2. Cleon Jones in the actual 1971 season was a 319 hitter with 14 home runs, 69 runs batted, an important part of this Mets team. All right. Ken Castro said he never had a pet. So you were more into the bunnies as opposed to the pets. Is that what you're saying? There you go. There we go. Ken Castro and I on the same wavelength, man. He says, well, maybe a Playboy pet. Remember, we do have a 6-second delay. So there we go. So Ken would just be hearing that now after he's typed it. Had bad luck with golden retrievers only live. Yeah, so they don't necessarily have long lifespans, but I love them. I also love other working breed dogs too. Huskies, however, I love Huskies, but man, they are always trying to figure it out. How am I going to escape today? Man, oh man. But here we go. 1-2 pitch. Cleon Jones is strikeout victim number 6, and a big swing and a miss as Doc Ellis coming with something off speed. So no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Pirates still leading the Mets 7-3. So your family they do not do pets generally. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. Here's Richie Hebner. 2-run homer back in the 3rd inning. That increased the Buccos. They gave the Buccos a 6-0 lead back in the 3rd. All right, Nolan Ryan to deal. 0-1 pitch. Hebner up the middle, but Foley cuts it off behind the bag. Fires to crane pull. 1 away. Bucco center fielder Al Oliver, nothing for 2. Grounded into a double play that did result in Davalillo scoring in the game, though. 2-1 pitch. Oliver pops this one foul. And let's watch Ed Kranepool go 13 seats back and still not be able to reach it. You got to grow some longer arms there, Mr. Kranepool. All right. Count even on Al Oliver. And here's the pitch. Oliver lays off, and somehow that 3rd ball, we just won't worry about it. And again, I guess you guys don't know, you can play this game in pitch-by-pitch mode too. All right, so Nolan Ryan has now issued his 3rd walk. This is true, says Ken. He's been sans pet except a goldfish that lasted 2 days. Well, maybe then it is a good thing. So your love of animals can remain at a distance. How about it? John says it's crazy that Nolan Ryan is pitching this 1971 game and he's on his 1989 team. What a career, huh? The Ryan Express rolled on and on. I think Nolan Ryan, if he could have, he would have pitched forever. As long as he could beat up Robin Ventura every once in a while. Beer sales to the players in the game are running hot in this game, says Mick. Nathaniel, man, he says he had a pet bunny that lasted only 1 night. Now, that's sad, man. That's sad. But in my faith, we believe animals have spirits and that they are in paradise, including Ken's goldfish. All right, here is like some of the ones you dated, they lasted 1 night. Oh, my God, here we go. And without benefit of Todd B being here, firing shots across the bow. Ken getting started here now. And I love it. All right, here's Bob Robertson. And here's the pitch from Nolan Ryan. There goes Al Oliver. And Al Oliver steals a base. So Jerry Grody just having no luck against these buckos today. Al Oliver did pilfer 4 in the actual 1971 season. This is his first steal in this project. So the Pirates with 4 stolen bases in this game. All right, Robertson back in the box. Bob Robertson, nothing for 1. He's walked and struck out. Nolan Ryan deals. Robertson, deep fly ball to left field, but not deep enough. Cleon Jones makes the catch, tagging, and advancing to third on the play is Al Oliver. So score that, a sacrifice there for Bob Robertson. And here's Manny Sanguillen, 1 for 2. Sanguillen had that 2 RBI double back in the first inning. All right, from the stretch, 1-0 pitch, hard ground ball deep to short. Harrelson to Kranepool, bang, bang play over at first to retire Sanguillen and the Buccos. So nothing across here. We go to the top of the 6th, and the Pirates lead the Mets 7-3. Ed Kranepool, a perfect 2 for 2 today, leading things off for the Mets. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up. So Kranepool RBI single that scored Shamsky back in the 4th. For the New York Mets. The Mets would score 3 in that 4th inning. All right, Doc Ellis brings a 1-1 pitch to Kranepool, fly ball, center field. Oliver racing back, makes the grab just short of the track. 1 up, 1 down now, as we just have a little soft kind of drizzle falling here at the confluence of the 3 rivers, as Bob Aspromonte settles in, and our Italian hot corner man, single to right center his last time up. 0-2 pitch. Bob Robertson will take it to the bag himself. Score that one 3 unassisted. 2 away now for Jerry Grody. So walked in a bases loaded situation that Cleon Jones came in to score. And that Ellis deals. 2-0 pitch. Hard ground ball to Gene Alley. Gene Alley boots it. Just plain out boots it. So his 3rd error of the season. And that gives the Metropolitans a base runner. Tim Foley has fanned twice against Doc Ellis. Here we go. Count full. Grounder. Hebner will go the short route to Dave Cash. And we'll score that one 5-4. And we'll call it an inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Buccos still lead this one 7-3. Ah, yes. Women. What a species, huh? What a species. Keep going back. I don't know, man. Right now, I think I'm single. Yeah, I'm single. So I don't know. Just got to hang in there, man. Just hang in there, man, Nathaniel. I know that there's got to be one out there. Got to be one out there. Right? So... What? And that's one of the things I love about dogs, cats, whatever. They only break your heart once, and they never mean to. As Mick says, it could be worse. You could be married for 41 years. Oh, man. Oof. Mick not pulling any punches there, man. By the way, Mick, on a more serious note, how's your wife's vision doing? Is she starting to know any improvement? I hope so. We're again keeping good vibes up for her. And it's a good thing you're typing that, because she's gonna kick your ass if she hears you. She's gonna kick your ass. You're gonna have to be sleeping with one eye open, my friend. But yep, animals only break your heart once. And you know what? You could have the worst day in the world, be going through hell, and you'll come home, and your animals will love you, man. They'll treat you like you're the Beatles, and they're amazing. All they want is just love. There's so much we can learn from animals. So much we can learn from them. I've had people cut and run on me, man. And then they just cut and run. Oh well. All right, Gene Alley is grounded out on the infield both times up, and he's leading it off here for the Buccos. Doc Ellis waits on deck. 7-3 Bucco lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Nolan Ryan, 1-2 pitch, and Gene Alley is going to come up empty as he looks at one coming in below the belt. So Ryan, when he's getting these strikeouts coming in, and Bucko's just getting kind of fooled by the lower pitches in the strike zone. Here's Doc Ellis, struck out twice. Will it be a trifecta? No, it will not. Nolan Ryan loses him on a full count. And Ryan a little bit tired. Oh, absolutely. Welcome to the good vibes. And Mick saying that her vision is improving. She plans to drive in a few days, about 4 weeks after the eye surgery. Wow. Man, that's amazing. We are so happy. So I think I speak on behalf of La Familia here, that we are very, very happy to hear that. That is awesome. There you go. So Nathaniel says, I was listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Great stuff. How about it? What's your favorite CSNY song? And which album were you listening to? All right, here's Dave Cash. He's having a pretty good day at the old Ball Orchard. He is 2 for 3, and he has pilfered 2 bases today. Nolan Ryan might be a little fatigued out here as we go to the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 pitch, and driven right, base hit. They're going to make Doc Ellis stop at second. They don't want him to make a right turn and end up in center field. All right, so 2-1 for the Bucks, 1 away. We swing around, or we come down to the number 2 hitter, Vic Davalillo, live 1974. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and whatever iteration that they are. Fantastic, fantastic music. All right, so Davalillo 1 for 3, RBI single back in the 4th. Ken says he was rolling last week and a knock at his door. Dude, you thought had passed on, showed up at your door. Been at least 15 years. I thought, what a serendipitous event. Indeed. That's good for him. Nathaniel said he's listening to the CSNY through his Blue Sound Node streamer. So you want to try a cool game, if you don't mind something that's pretty trippy. There's a really cool shooter called Beat Hazard. So what it does is it will pick up any sort of externals, on your PC or whatever, and it generates these levels. And it's a space shooter, but everything is it's based on generated by the music that you're playing, and it's incredible fun. I'd love to show it on the channel, but obviously it would be pointless because the music would be silenced in the video because of copyright issues. But if you ever want to get a little bit more with your music, it also just has a great visualizer in it too. So it's called Beat Hazard. And the latest version, you can actually explore a whole galaxy, and the galaxy itself is generated by music and stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. The universe, says Cousin Ken, compelled him to relate that, and the universe always, whether in a Jungian sense or however you want to look at it, the universe, right, self-aware, comprehending itself. It always has a reason, working things out, much like a husky. So thank you for that, cuz. All right, here we go. 2-0 pitch. Grody out to have a quick word with Nolan Ryan back behind the dish. The pitch to Vic Davalillo. Grounder. Foley will go to Harrison for the out. There will be no throw to first. And we have a new pitcher coming in now. Charlie Williams will come in now to hurl, as it were, for the New York Mets. John says still staying in touch with his best friend from elementary school. Wow. I didn't have any friends in elementary school myself, but no, that's cool. Most of my friends I keep in touch with are from university days, and then, of course, bands that I'd been in and stuff like that. But boy, to have a lifelong friendship like that, John, that's so cool. It really is. And I mean that. I mean, despite my little bit of a flippant remark there, I think that's really cool. God, I'm lucky I even remember any names from elementary school. So, also friends with a bunch of magicians, but they're a weird lot. We all are a weird lot. So, Friendships are a wonderful thing, man. So I'm working on that. So, and Nathaniel says he stays in touch with his high school summer jobs friends. Great stuff. That is great stuff, guys. Clemente 2 for 3 struck out his last time up. Williams from the stretch, 3-1 pitch. Liner into the corner into right field. Coming in to score is going to be Ellis. Vic Davalillo ripping around third. Here's the throw to third. Clemente going for 3. And that's going to be an RBI, 2 RBI, triple. And the Pittsburgh Pirates add 2 more. It's now 9-3. So the Buccos scoring 4 in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 2 here in the sixth. So Charlie Williams in the season thus far, a 13.09 earned run average, 1 win, 2 losses, 11 innings worked, has given up 2 home runs. All right, here's Richie Hebner batting with Clemente at third with that big triple. 2-run shot, the big story for Richie Hebner today, back in the third. He's also walked, and he grounded to second last time up. Charlie Williams out of the stretch. 0-1 pitch. Hebner, high fly ball off the wall into right field. Clemente will score. Hebner going for 3. The slide, the tag, not in time. Back-to-back triples for the Corsairs at the confluence of the 3 rivers. And the Pittsburgh Pirates busting it open here against the New York Mets. It is 10-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. All right, Oliver now is 0-2. And if anybody wants to vote for the mercy rule or the quick zoom ahead, we can do that and just play another game or auto out the other games. It's up to you guys. Out of the stretch to Oliver. 3-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit into right field. Coming into scores, Richie Hebner. Al Oliver with an RBI. It's now 11-3 Pittsburgh. I rarely do Pirate games on here, so this is kind of fun, but it's getting out of hand also. All right, Bob Robertson has walked, struck out, and flown out. Watch out, Sam Crawford, says Mick F. Of course, Mick referring to Sam Crawford, the all-time leader in triples. Yeah, the Buccos catching. It's going to take a few Buccos to catch the great Wahoo Sam. All right, Al Oliver, who has a stolen base today, on first. Here we go. The New York Mets looking like the New York punching bags. Yeah, they do. In this game. So the Bucks looking to go to 25-9, and the Mets in danger of falling to 17 and 15, but still a lot of baseball left yet. Williams deals, hard ground ball driven into right field, and Al Oliver is going to make it to third on the play. Runners at the corners, 2 down, and Charlie Williams just can't seem to get it done here. Manny Sanguillen 1 for 3. From the stretch, 2-2 pitch. Grounder to Aspromonte. He will go to Boswell covering, and that will retire the side, but the Pirates put 4 on the board. 5 hits, no errors. 6 complete here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates, 11, and the New York Mets, 3. All right. You know, John makes a really interesting comment about most times before the internet was similar. You know, because you did always have that kind of generational thing, but there wasn't like the big thing. But the internet really changed everything, you know? And I think, you know, we kind of look at what's going on right now and how everything, right? You know, I mean, all of us in this family here, we're like, you know, we're old enough to remember, you know, what it's like to not have to have a phone with you and things like that, and get home, and who's going to know anyhow, right? Sorry, you know, somebody you didn't really want to hear from. Yeah, sorry, I was out and I forgot my pager. You guys remember the pagers and stuff like that. But now, I mean, it's incredible. So think about this. I read this somewhere. So kids that are now 18, 19 years old have never had to lick a postage stamp. Most of them have no idea how to use a rotary phone. Pretty insane. When you think about generationally how things have, right, changed, right? CDs were a thing. Now CDs are like ancient technology. ancient technology. So I guess what's going to happen in succeeding generations is if you're going to be that get off my lawn guy, you're going to be younger when you say it. It's just it's absolutely nuts, absolutely nuts. Big difference now. I listen to and watch a lot of these so-called reaction channels on YouTube. And while I didn't grow up with the Beatles, everybody knew about the Beatles in my generation. I didn't grow up with them, but it's weird, right? You know, these Gen Z dudes and that and people, right? They're like, Beatles, this is my first time listening to them. And then they're blown away. It's like, holy moly, you know, these guys are great. Or Pink Floyd. Um, so you know, and I think there's a lot of information overload going on now. Looking at people, first generation, man, are gonna have neck problems looking at those phones all day, stooped over. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that scene of Monty Python's and the Holy Grail, right, with the monks doing that, you know, doing that chant, banging themselves. That's the way I kind of look at people with their phones now. All right, here's Ken Boswell. Boswell coming into the game. Didn't realize he sneaked in. He's hitting 254 in the season with 19 runs batted in as we open the top of the seventh inning. Doc Ellis deals 2-2 pitch, and this one grounder past Dave Cash into right field for a base hit. So number 6 for the Mets. Doc Ellis right now getting close to his expected pitch count of 115. Looking pretty strong out there. Mark, thank you for coming in. And he says, see you all soon. Sleep well, Mark. And always a pleasure to have you here. All right, Ellis deals now to Tommy Agee. And Tommy Agee swinging a miss on a curveball. All right, so that's strikeout number 7 for Doc Ellis. So, Tim, I would say that the lysergic acid ethylamide must be back in gear. So Bud Harrelson, again, trying to keep a 15-game hitting streak going on. He's grounded out twice and flew out to shallow left. Ellis deals 2-2 pitch, and Harrelson comes up empty, swing and a miss. So 2 down for the Mets. Ken Boswell on at first. Art Shamsky, nothing for 2, plus a walk. Ellis, full count, and Doc Ellis loses Shamsky. So 2 Mets aboard, third walk issued by Doc Ellis. And with an 8-run lead, we're going to see if the Buccos, what Danny Murtaugh is going to do here, if he's going to allow Ellis to get this third out, as Ellis will be up second when we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. John says social media is ugly stuff, but much more of a negative than a positive for your kid. His kid is almost 16. No, and so you know, in Europe, I mean, so you know, the kids that I helped raise, we were very strict on limiting their time on social media, and you know, we did, you know, my girlfriend and I, we got pushback on it. So I was like the stepdad, whatever. We got pushback on it, but what was really cool though is hearing from those kids later and all of them saying thank you so much for being so strict about that. You know, they're so my former stepson, he's a writer. My eldest stepdaughter is running her own design company, and the younger one is going into some kind of really neat, as a therapist or something. Turned out great. The other one is with another woman that I'm with that I helped to raise, little girl. She's in college now, just so smart. And we were always very strict about that. And we monitored. It's like, all right, this is, you know, I mean, it wasn't like that we were puritanical. In fact, we were both very liberal, but we also wanted to, you know, instill in the kids a sense of developing, right? You know, you got to develop your cognitive processes and you know, critical thinking skills, and you're not going to get that by scrolling through TikTok. So, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, I still think that old school way of being strict, it does work. I know I rebelled it against my mom, you know, as a kid, but I'm thankful for it now. I am. And my mom let me do a lot of things, but, you know, there was also that, okay, you know, you got to read, you got to learn. And I never rebelled against that, but I did hate some of the other rules, but I'm glad I had them. Glad I had them. All right, here's Cleon Jones, for whom I shall name my golden retriever or another cat after. And Cleon Jones with a single in this game, 1 for 3. 0-2 pitch. Cleon Jones has 2 signals gained, line drive single, and Ken Boswell, they're going to hold him up at third. So the bases are loaded. Ed Kranepool settles in the box. He has 1 grand slam in the season, and I think we're going to make us a mound trip. And of course, he's extremely tired. So Doc Ellis will be done for the day. We're not going to let him try to get that, even though we've got a big lead up there. Let's go ahead and let's make the switcheroony now. And we're going to bring in Bob Miller on this one. So Doc Ellis leaves the game with an 8-run lead. Bases sold out. Ken Boswell at third, Art Shamsky at second, Cleon Jones at first. Bob Miller brings it home, 1-0 pitch. Kranepool up the middle, base hit. Boswell and Shamsky will score. So those runs will be charged to Doc Ellis. Third hit for Ed Kranepool today. And the Mets creeping up now. It's 11-5 Pirates. 2-1 for Bob Aspromonte. Aspromonte with 1 for 3 in this game. Miller deals. Fly ball into shallow center field, and Al Oliver will make a great play there. Actually, a little harder than it was. He picks it off the shoestring. Anyhow, 7th inning of stretch time, 11-5 in favor of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Be right back. And before there was John Lennon and Paul McCartney, there was Jack Norworth and Albert von Tilzer. And as we come back to the closing strains of the chorus of baseball's anthem. All right, Gene Alley. And we'll see if we're going to let Bob Miller hit for himself. So it'll be Gene Alley, the pitcher spot, and Dave Cash. Gene Alley, 0 for 3 on the day. Pirates with a 6-run lead here as we go to the bottom of the 7th here. Williams deals 1-2 pitch, and Gene Alley whiffs. All right. You know what? We're going to let Bob Miller hit for himself. Why not? Charlie Williams deals. Nope. Danny Murtaugh is saying no. Bill Mazeroski will come in. So we're going to let Bill Mazeroski come in. And Mazeroski grounded hard to short. Plenty of time for Harrelson to get Mazeroski. So 2 up, 2 down for Dave Cash. 3 hits and 2 steals today. Not a bad day at the office for Dave Cash. Bucko, second baseman, in the box. Charlie Williams stays on in relief. 1-0 pitch up the middle, base hit. Dave Cash now 4 for 5. Let's see if Danny Murtaugh has Dave Cash running as Vic Davalillo steps in. Davalillo also with a stolen base in this game and 2 RBI, actually. No, 1 RBI, I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Cash leads off first. Beetlejuice and Pink Floyd. There we go. Nathaniel also says he was part of a bicycle camping group traveling 40 to 80 miles a week. In high school, he was in a drum and bugle corps, played shows from the themes of the Newsies, Prince of Egypt, and Kansas, Beetlejuice, and Pink Floyd. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, traveling 40 to 80 miles a week, a bicycle camping group. Wow. That's getting my cardio rate up just reading that. All right. 0-2 pitch, and Dave Cash steals another one. Oh, no. Here, looking at the replay, and this is a pass ball. So Dave Cash gets to second. I thought he pilfered another. So that's the old peanut butter and jelly there on Jerry Grody. Davalillo back in the box. 1-2 pitch, Davalillo. And this is going to be a line drive over the head of Aspromonte at third. Dave Cash will score. Davalillo digging for 2. Is he going to go for 3? Nope. They're going to flash the stop sign. So the Pirates get another one back. It is 12-5. Davalillo's first double of the season. Roberto Clemente, 3 for 4. John says, good for you. I don't even like driving a car 40 to 80 miles a week. Woof. All right, Williams deals. Clemente on the 0-1 pitch. This one will make the seats, third base side. And there it goes. Come back, Mr. Aspromonte. The game is not over yet. All right, Clemente back in the box. 0-2 pitch. Clemente swings. This one, line drive, base hit, right field. Shamsky up with it. Davalillo comes in to score. RBI for Roberto Clemente, 13-5. This is what we would call a drubbing, a slobber knocker, I suppose. Richie Hebner has 3 ribbies, so a 2-run homer, an RBI triple in this game. So Richie responsible for 3 of this passel of Pittsburgh Pirate. I need something else to continue the alliteration. I don't want to say points because it's, yeah. Anyhow, here we go. Hebner swings on this one. Bounding ball. Aspromonte stays with it, but, they do get Hebner by a millimeter. All right, so the Pittsburgh Pirates pick up 2 more on 3 hits, no errors. We played 7, and it is 13-5 in favor of Pittsburgh. Coming on in relief, Nellie Briles, grounder to Dave Cash by Jerry Grody, on to Bob Robertson for 1 away. Nelson Briles on the season, a 3.18 earned run average, 5 2/3 worked for him. Nelson Briles was Pittsburgh's own human rain delay. Actually had a rain out at the Houston Astrodome. Pretty cool that. So Nathaniel busy advocating as he is asked if he was still writing by Cousin Ken. So I'm jealous. So John did a nice long bike ride in the neighborhood today. I had to run to the store, and there was still damn snow on the ground. So you warm weather people. All right, Charlie Williams, will he bat for himself? No, he will not. Don Hahn will come in as the Mets have 1 down here in the top of the 8th. Here's the pitch by Hahn, and Hahn on a 3-2 pitch will amble down to first. So Briles issuing the walk. Ken Boswell now 1 for 1, singled back in the 7th. Briles deals, first pitch swing, hard ground ball, alley to Cash to Robertson, 6-4-3, double play, and that one ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Buccos clinging to a 13-5 lead. John Matlack will now come on to pitch for the New York Mets. He's worked 1 inning in the project thus far. In 1971 for real, a 4.14 earned run average, 0-3 record, 37 innings pitched for him. So it was 60 there today. So it was 20 in the morning, 60 in the afternoon, bone dry. Ugh, must be nice. We've got like polar vortexes coming into Pennsylvania for a few days this week. So, ugh. All right, John Matlack will face the 5-6-7 of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Al Oliver, Bob Robertson, Manny Sangamo. When we go to the 9th for the New York Mets, it will be Tommy Agee, Harrelson, and Shamsky. All right, Al Oliver in the game, 1 for 3, including a legit RBI in the 6th. We'll call it that. John Matlack, the lefty, deals 1-2 pitch. Al Oliver, swing and a miss, 1 away. All right, Bob Robertson, 1 for 3. Matlack, 0-1 pitch, fly ball center field. Agee back and looks up and just watches as this one hits the club deck. And Bob Robertson goes yard, 14-5. So let me see. I don't know much about American football, but that's 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points, right? Because isn't that the thing when you're doing when you got a big baseball score, you compare it to an American football score. So there we go. I'm pretty much at the end of my American football knowledge on that one. But wow, Robertson crushed that ball. All right, here's Manny Sanguillen. Pretty much everybody today for the Bucs. Pretty much everybody today on the RBI train right now. So 13 degrees in Wisconsin. Oh, and it's coming this way. I think it's like 19 here, or 18 or 19 here in the part of Pennsylvania where I am. All right. John Matlack deals. Sanguillen 1 for 4. Count is full, and John Matlack will lose Manny Sanguillen, so he'll trot down to first. Here's Gene Alley. Nothing for 4. 2 ground outs, 2 strikeouts, and a base hit by Gene Alley. This one, no. This is going to be good for extra bases. Sanguillen around second, on his way to third. Shamsky up with the ball. Hard throw to third. Sanguillen will score the tag blast for Monte. And RBI, triple for Gene Alley. And it's 15-5, as John says that I'm correct in my American football scoring. So I guess you can't have a score like... No, I heard there's a thing called a 1-point safety in football. Apparently that's a super rare play, but I don't know what that means or whatever. But I guess you can't normally have a 15 in American football. But anyhow, 15-5. All right. And here's Nelson Briles. Danny Murtaugh, is he going to let him pitch? Or are we going to go to, may his memory be eternal, Dave Giusti? And Briles, hard hit ground ball to Boswell. Boswell to Kranepool. But Briles is going to pick up the RBI as Gene Alley continues to score. 16-5 Pittsburgh. And here comes Tug McGraw. Tug McGraw once asked what he would do with the bases loaded in a critical game situation pitching against Willie Stargell. He thought for a moment and said, in a billion years, the earth will be nothing but an ice ball hurtling through space, and there will be nobody left to care about how I pitched to Willie Stargell. Now taking the hill. An ERA of 5 in the project with 2 saves, 9 innings worked. In 1971, a 1.70 earned run average. Tug McGraw went 11-4 with 8 saves, worked 111 innings, gave up 73 hits, 4 home runs, averaged 8.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. So we're now up to 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. So in the 1960s, God, who was it? Was Bob Prince with the Pirates by then? I think, but he wasn't the main announcer yet. And I'm trying to remember if Rosie Rosewell was still. This is where I need Clinton. I don't know if Rosie Rosewell was still the main Pirates broadcaster in 1960. But Bob Prince joined the Buccos in the 60s. I just don't know if he was there in 1960. I need to look that up. Somebody will look it up if I don't get to it after this game. All right. So, man, we've done like 4.5 hours of baseball today. Makes me happy. Dave Cash, 4 for 5. Dave Cash, boy, it's going to be hard to pick an MVP for this game. Bob Prince, the old gunner. Tug McGraw deals. And this one, bounder back to the mound. And Dave Cash, not on base just for the second time today. All right, that does it for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 3 runs and 2 hits, no errors. We go to the 9th here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates lead the Mets 16-5. Tommy Agee, nothing for 4. Nelly Briles staying on relief. Danny Murtaugh going to allow Nelly to get some innings. And it is fitting, Nelly Briles, again, the Pirates kind of human rain delay. And we do have a light rain continuing to fall here in Pittsburgh. More of a nuisance than anything. 3-0 pitch, Briles losing him. So we'll see whether Murtaugh is going to go to the pen now just because. All right, last chance for Harrelson to keep this 15-game hitting streak alive. Tommy Agee at first does have wheels. 9 stolen bases thus far in this project. 1-1 pitch, and look at this one. Line drive into the left field alley, but Davalillo getting over to the ball quickly. The Mets with 2 on, nobody out, and here comes Art Shamsky. He has nothing for 2, walked back in the 7th. Here's the pitch. Shamsky grounds her Cash to Alley to Robertson. 4-6-3 double play, and on the play, Tommy Agee moves to third, and here comes Cleon Jones. And Cleon Jones singled his last time up. He's 2 for 4. Briles out of the stretch. 0-1 pitch. And this one is going to be popped foul, and it will make the seats. Richie Hebner grabbing another beer there on the third base side. And 0-2 pitch, skied to right. Roberto Clemente has it. And boy, was this a cliffhanger. That's your ball game. recap here. And the most fun about this one is going to be is we should try to see who the game is going to pick as the game's MVP. Pittsburgh Pirates take this one from the Mets. The Bucks improved to 25-9, and the Mets fall to 17-15 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 16 runs, 17 hits, and 1 error for the New York Mets. 5 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Doc Ellis improves to 8-1, and Nolan Ryan will fall to 1-2. Really, the only highlight for the New York Mets in this game offensively, Ed Kranepool went 3 for 4 with 3 RBI. So nothing to sneeze at when you are responsible for 60% of your team's runs. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, however, Dave Cash goes 4 for 6 on the day with 2 stolen bases. Richie Hebner, 2 for 4 with a home run, 3 runs batted in. And Roberto Clemente went 4 for 5 with 4 RBI. The Buccos with 3 triples in this game, along with 2 home runs. The Mets, no extra base hits at all in this game. Let's look at pitching. Nolan Ryan just got bitch slapped. I'm not going to put too fine a point on that. 5 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 9 runs, 6 of them earned. Gave up a home run, walked 4, struck out 5. Williams 1 1/3, 4 runs, 3 earned, struck out 1. John Matlack worked 2/3 of an inning in relief, gave up 3 earned runs, including a home run, 1 walk, and a strikeout. Tug McGraw worked 1/3 of an inning in relief. Doc Ellis with the win. Strong outing for him. 6 2/3, walked 3 and struck out 8. So his ERA at 1.66 for his 8th win of the season. Bob Moose worked 1/3 of an inning. And then Nellie Briles came in and really a situation in which he wasn't in any danger and worked 2 innings. All right, so I don't know. Let's see. 25-9. It definitely a nice start for the Pittsburgh Pirates, John. You got that right. You definitely got that right. John said went to vacation Wisconsin this year, but your family wanted the beach. Wisconsin would be a cool place to go. All right. I don't know. Part of me wants it's this is going to be tough because any one of these 3 guys deserves MVP. Dave Cash, Richie Hebner, Roberto Clemente. The game is going to award it to Roberto Clemente, who's 4 for 5, 4 runs batted in. All right. Wow. All right. So the Buccos right now, as we go into autoplay the rest of this day, with the best record in this project at 25-9. All right. And let's start San Diego and Chicago. Padres versus the Cubs. This would be one, just because they were 2 teams with winning records. Combs versus Hands. And this one being played at Wrigley at the Friendly Confines. And the Cubs blank the Padres 7-0. Hands with the win, Combs with the loss. Davis goes 4 for 5 with a double. Got to check the box score, see if this is a shutout or a no-no. It was a 3-hitter. 3-hit shutout. So Hands improves to 5 4. Combs at 1 2. Your MVP of that game was Bill Hands. Hickman went 1 for 4 with the Cubbies with a home run. Billy Williams went 3 for 5. Yes, there we go. All right. What else we got here? Cardinals versus the Astros. Jerry Royce, who will become a Pirate, versus Larry Dierker. Let's autoplay this one. And Chicago comes busting out here 12-5. Royce with the win, Dierker with the loss. Lou Brock goes 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in and a stolen base. Dodgers Giants. Osteen and Perry would have liked to have done this one just for the matchup. Both teams with losing records right now. San Francisco needs to pick it up. They are 5.5 out of first right now. And it will be the Giants over the Dodgers, 4-1. Perry with the win, Osteen with the loss. Bobby Bonds went 2 for 4 with a double in that game. Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves. This is Wise versus Jarvis. And the Braves will defeat the Phillies 3-1 in this one. Jarvis with the win, Wise with the loss. Oscar Gamble 2 for 4 with a triple and a stolen base. Cincinnati Reds, Montreal Expos, Renko versus Grimsley. And Cincinnati defeats Montreal 4-2. In 10 innings, Granger with the win, Marshall with the loss. Tony Perez goes 4 for 5 with a second home run and 2 RBI. Minnesota Twins, Chicago White Sox. Bradley versus Ham. And the White Sox edge the Minnesota Twins 5-4. So good day in Chicago as both teams win. Romo with the win, Ham with the loss. Riker 2 for 4, hitting his 9th home run, 2 runs batted in. The second game of a twin bill in Chicago. So Chicago taking the first game 7-0. Let's see if San Diego can even things up. And nope, the Cubbies will take the doubleheader from the San Diego Padres. Reagan with the win, Acosta with the loss. Billy Williams, 2 for 4, and his 5th home run of the season. Oakland A's, Kansas City Royals. And this will be Dobson versus Drago. And in 11 innings, Kansas City defeats Oakland 5-4. Jim Rooker gets the win. He goes to 2-3. Paul Lindblad gets the loss, goes to 1-1. Hopkins 2 for 4, the second home run, 2 RBI. So here we go. Senators and Tigers. The Tigers just crushing it right now to 22-10. Washington looking for double digits in wins. And ain't going to happen today as Washington falls to 9-25. This is a 13-inning affair. So Sherman gets the win, Zenda gets the loss, and Dick McAuliffe for the Tigers goes 5 for 6 with 2 doubles. But this went 13 innings. Let's check this box score. And yeah, what the hell happened? So Detroit put 4 on the board in the top of the 13th. Let me see. MVP of this game was Dick McAuliffe. So I just want to see how this one ended out. Just who did the walk off? Whoops, that was bad. Who did the walk off magic? I really wish they would let you use the scroll wheel in this thing. Drives me crazy, man. Oh, you know what? I can't be arsed. Can't be arsed. All right, Brewers at Angels, Lockwood and Allen. California 4, Milwaukee 1. Allen with the win, Lockwood with the loss. Queen picks up the save. And we have another twin bill here. Oakland being hosted by Kansas City. And this one is going to be the Royals again. And so both games in this doubleheader go into extra innings. Once again, Rooker getting the win. So Jim Rooker doing some good work in relief. Now at 3-3. Diego Segui takes the loss, goes to 1-4. Freddie Patek goes 5-for-7 with a stolen base. That takes care of May 10th. And we're going to go ahead and play out to the 22nd. So let's do that while we start to finish up here, as I am once again behind on comments. All right. I'm going to a Brewers game, says Nathaniel. Is a wonderful experience. Bring your tailgating things. All right. So let's look what's going on. I'm kind of curious. So San Francisco just not off to a good start, and in real life they took the National League West, but nowhere near that. Let me see any sort of dog fights here. Yankees now 2.5 up on the Tigers. Houston, Atlanta separated by 2.5 now, 3 games. So things starting to widen out as you would expect. Washington is in double digits now. They're 12-27 as we continue. Let's see who reaches 31st. We won't. So the Pirates are closest. So in the National League West, the Houston Astros right now at 26 wins, 15 losses, 4 games up on Dwayne's Atlanta Braves. In the National League East, the Pittsburgh Pirates at 29 wins, 11 losses, and 6.5 up on the Cubbies. In the American League West, the Oakland A's have a 3-game lead on the Chicago White Sox. And in the American League East, the New York Yankees 3 up on the Detroit Tigers. So the next games would be May 23rd. And once again, this is going to be Pittsburgh, Montreal. I'm not seeing anybody in the pennant race lock it up against one another. So, but this is going to be fun. Again, this is all leading toward the Legacy Project. And This 1971 season is so much fun. I'm going to take off these headphones and talk for 4 more minutes and thank everybody. So, I really love doing these things. I love this community. I love this family, especially that we have in this specific little corner area of YouTube. And, we never know whether it's my, as Paul says, my butterfly brained way of doing things, or if it's just, where you guys are directing it in one way or another. But I love the dynamic. I love where things go. The knowledge is here is incredible. The camaraderie is amazing. All of it. And Orioles need to pick it up. Baltimore right now 8 games out. So 20 and 17. So surprises actually are the American League East and the National League West. Thus far, American League West playing out pretty much as it should. The National League East as well. But San Francisco, but again, we're just in May. A lot of baseball to play, and it will be fun to go into the legacy mode once this is done. And for Will Toole, once this is done, before we go into that, be able to show him how to use the encyclopedia, since it has to be a finished season for the encyclopedia in this game. So I guess that's it, guys. We're not going to play it, but I just want to check my just one more time to see if a pocket pennant run update was released, and there is not. So I guess Paul's still doing some crazy testing, and that's good. Let's have a quick look at our leaders. Pirates Yankees World Series would be interesting. A nice repeat of 1960. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Let's see. Hopefully that might even happen. God, I almost hit the reset tools. Oh my God, I don't want that. Okay, let's look at leaders here really, really quickly. And here we go. Let's go to batting. So Sal Bando is still leading, and we're just doing the majors still at this point. Sal Bando leading the majors with 15 home runs. Richie Hebner leading with triples with 6. Tony Canigliaro with 16 doubles. Billy Williams runs scored 35. Willie Mays leading with walks with 34. Willie Stargell still has the dubious honor of leading the majors in strikeouts with 46. Sal Bando with 42 RBI. So Bando, a real monster year for him thus far in our 1971 project. Cleon Jones has himself 59 hits. Again, total bases, if you care about that stat. 109 total bases for Sal Bando. Lou Brock leading with 18 stolen bases. Mike Andrews with an on-base percentage, White Sox 4.62, and Sal Bando with a slugging percentage of 6.77. So that's just basic batting. Let's look at basic pitching here, just very quickly. So Bob Miller, 21 games under his belt. Mickey Lolich with Detroit so far is the workhorse at 103 1/3 innings pitched. Vida Blue and Mickey Lolich each with 7 complete games, very endangered stats. Vida Blue leading the majors with 10 wins. What else? What else do we have here? What else is big? Doc Ellis leading the majors. He has 4 shutouts. Fergie Jenkins leading the majors with 81 strikeouts. Sam McDowell leading the majors with 39 walks. Not so much fun. Denny McLain has given up the most home runs, 15 thus far. Opponents having a tough time with Vida Blue hitting just 179. So that's a baseball leading 179. All right. So there we go. We're not going to get into the real big minutia yet. Still too early in the season. But there we go. Aaron Reed comes in just as we're about to wrap it up. How you doing, Aaron? Good to see you. Haven't heard you in a while, man. We're gonna have to do a chin wag some night. Doesn't seem like anybody was into the chin wag thing last night, so didn't worry about it too much. And I think we are done. It is 1:03 in the morning. So for those of you that have MLK Day off, MLK Day off, whatever, make it a good one. Play some baseball, but take a time out for a few minutes to remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In these interesting times in which we live, and the message that he had for all of us. Um, and may his memory be eternal. Once again, memory eternal to Wilbur Wood. Yeah, I do too, brother. I miss the chin wags too. Lots of fun. We'll get back to them. We'll definitely get back to them. So, guess that's pretty much it. Fort Pitt, as they say. So, thank you, Aaron Reed, Nathaniel, Advocate 8 Nate John DFW, Cousin Ken Castro, and Mick. Thank you very much, buddy. Continued. So glad your wife's gonna be driving in a couple days. We won't tell her what you said about 41 years of being married, because we know you were just kidding anyhow, right? Yes, indeed. Mark, thank you for coming in. Tim, thank you. Clee, baseball fan 879, of course. Yep. Going back. We had a very active chat tonight, so that's always love that. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. So I would say more thank yous. We had lots of people. Oh, Enzo was here for a while. Enzo the Picker, thank you. And Mike Sports Time Machine, make sure to please subscribe to that channel. Cousin Ken Castro, the heart and soul of the channel. And Nathaniel, who was the first one in the ballpark, says, damn, I'm seeing you too much today, 3 times. 2 streams plus I was at Legend Streams. All right, guys, we will catch you just around. Have a great day, great rest of your night, and a great day tomorrow. And we'll see you around the batting cage. La familia. Buonanotte a tutti. Good night, everyone.